Democratic Senator Bob Menendez is again refusing to step down in the face of new allegations he acted as a foreign agent. Prosecutors say he and his wife, along with a New Jersey businessman, conspired to have Menendez act as an agent of Egypt in exchange for bribes. The senator and his wife were indicted last month on corruption charges, accused of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes. They've all pleaded not guilty. Menendez released a statement denying these latest accusations, and he says he's only been loyal to the U.S. He went on to say piling new charges upon new charges does not make the allegations true. The facts haven't changed, only a new charge. It is an attempt to wear someone down, and I will not succumb to this tactic. Joining me now, NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Hi there, Jesse. How serious are these latest allegations in this case?
Really serious, but it's kind of consistent with what he's already facing, right? These corruption-related charges. Look, FARA violations, this should not come as a surprise to a lot of people. We've heard it in recent years. I mean, a lot of people might remember Paul Manafort was ultimately charged with this and pled guilty to it. So what we're talking about here is there's one thing for somebody under the law. If you are acting as an agent for a foreign government, you have to register. So if you're doing their bidding, you're doing their lobbying. But for a sitting member of Congress, it is illegal for them to be a foreign agent. And he is going to basically put forward the defense that, look, I was just advocating that the U.S. should have, more of a beneficial relationship with Egypt. I was looking out for both of our interests. The problem for Bob Menendez is if you look at this, it's the dinners, it's the possible money trail, it's the idea of getting involved in business deals with his business associate who, so that he would get more favorable treatment, why the U.S. should get involved in a dam being built on the Nile River. That's where it may cross the line into being illegal. And he's going to have his day in court. But what we're seeing so far in this superseding indictment is very, very serious. And it just smells of outright corruption. That's what they're basically saying.
In the meantime, Jesse, prosecutors have asked a judge to seize Menendez's residence in New Jersey, take a car as well. How likely is that to happen?
So it is possible. Again, the idea would be that these assets that he had were ultimately obtained through illegal means. And so if he received these gifts, they could be put on hold temporarily. Again, it's going to be an interesting question to see how he received them, why he received them. The money trail becomes crucial in these kinds of cases, and we'll ultimately see if the judge and the court will take a proactive step at this point.
So we've seen on the screen there, once again, the gold bars, the piles of cash that was collected, all part of evidence. But in this new allegation, prosecutors say they have a letter that Menendez wrote to the Treasury Secretary and the Secretary of State. What more does that show as evidence?
That shows intent. I mean, remember, he's charged with conspiracy to violate FARA. So it's not just his messages, his wife, his business associate. They are accused of kind of being the middle people here. And there's text messages. I believe one was from an Egyptian official to Bob Menendez's business associate that says, if Menendez can help resolve this issue, we'll make him comfortable. And you don't have to actually complete a crime. It's the idea of acting in furtherance of that crime that may be enough to show that he was acting as an illegal foreign agent. So it's the paper trail, the communications that are going to be really key for prosecutors here.
And remind folks, he was charged with corruption before that case ultimately thrown out years ago. What happened then, and why might this be different?
So, that was a different kind of case, a different set of circumstances, and not as strong as a case as we may see here. I will tell you, though, it has the same kind of narrative and flavor that people have been suspecting of Bob Menendez. But remember, even before the FARA violations that he's being accused of right now, it was 2 weeks ago, he's accused of receiving gifts and bribes to help out local officials. In New Jersey, he allegedly got involved in a prosecution when he really shouldn't have gotten involved and tried to have the charges dropped or the lenient treatment of his business associates' friends. So all of this together in one case is really beneficial for prosecutors to tell the story that they want to tell about Bob Menendez.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.